Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're digging into these sources you shared about talking about hobbies in English.
Yeah, they're aimed at language learners, giving them tools to discuss their interests.
Right. And our mission really is to pull out the best bits, the most useful phrases and ideas.
Exactly. So people can feel, more confident sharing what they love to do.
Whether they're actively practicing English or just want to connect better.
Mm-hmm. And these sources, they come from an English learning podcast. Jack and Emma were the hosts, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. And they were talking about how tricky it can be sometimes.
It seems simple, doesn't it, talking about hobbies? But they dig into why it can feel stuck.
Okay, let's start there then. Why do people get stuck talking about something as basic as hobbies, especially in another language?
Well, the sources suggested a couple of things. One big one is just not having the specific vocabulary.
Right, not just I like reading, but maybe what you read or how it makes you feel.
Exactly. And the other part is, like anything, it just takes practice. You need to actually do it.
One of the hosts, Emma, she said something like, sometimes people don't know the right words or phrases.
Yeah, that hits it right there, that gap. You know what you mean, but the words aren't quite there.
And Jack, the other host, he had that analogy, planting a tree.
Mm-hmm. That you need to, keep at it consistently for it to grow, like language skills.
It's a good visual. Gradual effort.
Definitely. It applies so well to learning how to talk about personal things.
So if you're feeling stuck, where did the sources say to begin? What's step one?
I started with the real fundamentals, super basic phrases.
Which makes sense. Build a foundation.
Yeah, just getting those simple sentences out like, my hobbies are, or my hobby is.
Followed by the activity. Reading, cooking, playing soccer.
Just getting it stated. Clearly and simply. That's the launching point.
Okay, got it. Lay the groundwork. But just saying, my hobby is reading isn't much of a conversation starter, is it?
No, exactly. So the next step they discussed was adding a bit more flavor, more detail.
Going beyond just the label.
Right. Explaining why you like it, or maybe when or how you do it.
Okay, like I love reading because
it helps me relax. Or unwind. Yeah, that little bit of why makes a huge difference.
It gives the other person something to connect with, doesn't it?
Totally. Or like, I play soccer every weekend with my friends. Adds context.
There were some good examples in the source material. Emma mentioned cooking.
I love cooking because it makes me feel creative. That was one.
Yeah, and photography. It lets me see the world in a different way.
See, those little additions tell you so much more about the person, their motivations.
But it's probably not easy to just start talking like that immediately.
Oh, definitely not. And the hosts were clear about that. They stress practice a lot.
They mentioned their own experiences, right? Starting small.
Mm-hmm. Using those basic sentences first and then gradually adding more as you get comfortable.
Baby steps. That phrase came up.
It did. It's all about gradual improvement, not expecting perfection right away.
It's reassuring, I think. Especially when you're learning.
Definitely. Takes the pressure off a bit.
The hosts also shared their own hobbies, didn't they? To give some concrete examples.
Yeah, they did. Emma was into reading, cooking, playing sports. Pretty relatable stuff.
Mm-hmm. Standard, but good examples.
And Jackie mentioned playing guitar.
Right, as a way to relax and express himself.
And hiking. Getting outdoors, and photography too.
And they pointed out how his hiking and photography kind of went together.
Yeah, that was an interesting point, how hobbies aren't always separate boxes.
They can connect, feed into each other.
Like his hiking gives him photo opportunities, and maybe photography makes him notice more on his hikes.
It shows the sort of multifaceted nature of interests.
Exactly, it adds another layer to how you might talk about them.
Okay, so we have the basics, adding the why, the importance of practice. But the sources also talked about moving beyond just saying, I like.
Yes. Using more varied language to show how much you enjoy something.
Because I like can be a bit flat sometimes.
It can be. So they offered alternatives, like more casual ones I'm really into.
Yeah, I'm really into that. Sounds more enthusiastic.
Or I'm a huge fan of, if it's something you really appreciate.
And then there were stronger ones. I absolutely love.
Definitely conveys more passion. Or even, I'm passionate about.
That one feels quite deep, like a serious commitment.
And that's the point, right? Each phrase has a slightly different nuance, a different level of intensity.
You can choose the one that really fits how you feel. More precise.
Makes the conversation more authentic, too.
What about hobbies you're maybe just trying out? Or stuff you only do sometimes?
Yeah, that was covered, too. Because not all hobbies are, full-time passions.
Good point.
So phrases like, I'm getting into yoga.
Suggests it's new, you're exploring it.
Or I'm starting to enjoy cooking more. Shows it's developing.
And for the less frequent things.
I enjoy occasionally. I think the example is tennis.
Yeah, I enjoy playing tennis occasionally.
Or I like once in a while, like reading books once in a while.
That's useful. It manages expectations, paints a more accurate picture.
Exactly. You're not pretending you do it all the time if you don't.
The sources also touched on active hobbies, specifically sports and things.
Mm-hmm. The language there tends to be pretty direct.
Like
I play soccer, I go swimming, I ride my bike. Just simple action verbs.
Straightforward. Makes sense.
Yeah, very clear.
And another point they brought up was variety. Trying not to use the same phrases over and over.
Absolutely keeps it more interesting for you and the listener.
And shows you have maybe a broader vocabulary, which is good for confidence.
Definitely. And related to keeping things interesting, they talked about asking questions.
Turning it back to the other person. Crucial conversation skill.
Totally. Simple questions like, what are your hobbies?
Or maybe slightly softer. What do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, exactly. It shows you're interested in them, not just talking about yourself.
And Emma made the point that it's a great way to find common ground.
Make new friends, even, based on shared interests.
Which is fundamentally what a lot of this is about, isn't it? Connecting with people.
Absolutely. Using language, in this case English, as a tool for connection.
So wrapping up, the sources ended with a bit of encouragement.
Yeah, for anyone feeling nervous about trying this stuff out in English.
The main message being?
Pretty much. Start small. Don't worry about perfection. Just keep practicing those baby steps again.
Right. It's a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the big takeaways from this deep dive into your sources.
Okay.
Start simple. Use those basic phrases first.
Then add detail. The why, the when, the how. Make it personal.
Explore different ways to say you like something. Move beyond just I like. Use I'm into, I love, I'm passionate about.
And have phrases ready for new hobbies or things you only do occasionally, getting into once in a while.
Don't forget, practice is key. And importantly, ask other people about their hobbies too.
Yeah, that reciprocal part is vital.
It really boils down to using this specific topic, hobbies, as a way to build broader communication skills, doesn't it?
It really does. These aren't just English for hobby skills. They're connecting with humans skills. Very transferable.
So for everyone listening, maybe a little action item. Think about one hobby you have and try saying why you like it, maybe using a different phrase than usual, even just in your head to start.
Yeah, try explaining what drew you to it or what you get out of it.
Which leads to our final thought. Hobbies are windows into who we are.
Definitely. Unique parts of us.
So as you practice talking about them, maybe think about this. What new connection, either with someone else or even with yourself, might spark just from finding better words for what you love to do?